All right, so as you can see, I started creating value within my still life. I am currently looking at a grapefruit cut in half, an apple, and 2 strawberries. Okay, so I'm almost done with all of my value, but I wanted to show you just a little inside scoop on how I started creating some of these lights and darks areas. So what you need in order to create value is we're using a charcoal pencil. Remember, you can pick them up at the front office, or you can go and purchase your own. I also want to apologize for my dirty hands because I was obviously working on this, and when we use charcoal sometimes it is a little bit messy. Another thing you're going to need is you're going to need a kneaded eraser. Okay, these are really good for picking up any graphite or any charcoal that we do not need. It's also extremely fun to play with. I also have a regular eraser too, just in case if I really need to get more lights. And I have a tortilla, I like to call it my Blendy Stick. Essentially, this helps me blend to make sure that I am blending everything without using my fingers, which I kind of did. All right. So what I'm going to finish right now is I definitely want to finish this open part of my grapefruit. Okay, so some things I need to think about. I need to think about where the light is coming from and where my lights and darks are. Okay, so obviously with this artwork, you can see that my light is coming from over here to the left hand side because this part of my apple is obviously lightest. Same with my grapefruit over here. And then I have a lot of darks over on this side because that's where the shadows are. So I'm just going to start to create some darks and lights in here. Because the light is really shining brightly on top of this part of the grapefruit, it is important that I keep everything pretty light. And so I'm not going to be adding too much value. I definitely want to add some value into the middle here because this is going to show like this dark, deep part of the middle of the grapefruit. So in order to start adding value, what I like to do is I just take my charcoal pencil and I think about, as I said, where are my darks and lights, okay? I also always use a piece of paper to try to cover any sort of places that I've already done because I don't want this to happen and then smudge all my drawing that I've already completed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just taking my charcoal pencil and I'm going to start to lightly go around this circle. This circle is going to be dark down on the top here, but then it's going to get lighter. So I usually start with a basic, very light outline. Remember, the lighter that you press down, obviously the lighter your marks are going to be. The more you press down, the obviously more dark they're going to be. And I usually like to go in one direction, so rather than scribbling, I'm just following this basic shape of my mini oval that I'm starting to add value to. So as you can see, I'm going to start to build down or kind of decrease the value, so I'm not going to be doing as much layering as I did on the bottom. This is a slow process, so remember, take your time, like don't rush this, okay? If you do make a mistake, that's why we have kneaded erasers and things like that. So after I'm done with the overall value of it, I'm just going to come in and take my Blendy Stick and I'm going to start to blend some of those darks in. Okay. I definitely want to blend lightly by the lights because I don't want to blend too much, right? And I definitely want to show some definition here. So I'm going to leave that like that. If I needed to, I can always take my kneaded eraser and even kind of blend a little bit as well. Dotting is a good technique to use instead of like smudging. So I just do that. I just want to make sure I cover this area. So once again, coming in with my little tortilla to add some more definition. Okay, and that's looking pretty good to me. As you can see, I've created value because I started with the dark and I just started layering that up. And as I was able to kind of come around these edges, I just started lightening up my my pressure on my charcoal marker or charcoal pencil and made sure that I wasn't blending too much in there. All right, I'm going to do one more part with you just so that you are aware of how to add value. I definitely want to add a little bit of value along these edges, and then I'm probably going to add just a little bit of value within these here, but I'm just going to show you the edges, okay? So what I'm doing is, once again, lightly going with my charcoal pencil, and I'm just going to lightly start to kind of define these edges as best I can. And I know that there is some value in here, some darkness, because the top of the grapefruit is obviously these lines, and then this is like the fleshy part, the part that, you know, that's where all the good stuff is to eat. So I'm just going to add a quick little, almost like a little drop shadow in there. Because the edges are pretty profound right here, I am going to make it a little bit darker just to show that. And then I'm going to take my tortilla or my Blendy Stick, whatever you like to call it, and I'm just going to start to blend some of this together. As I said, I'm not blending too much here because I am, this is probably going to be one of the lightest parts, because the light is completely looking at this and completely reflecting off of this. So if I feel like anything's too dark, I just come in and start to dab some of those lights away. Okay? All right, so these are just some quick tips on adding value and blending. Remember, always start off light, and then you can always apply more, you know, dark or more graphite to your drawing. It's important to really make sure that you do that, because if you start going crazy with the darks, it's going to become a really, really dark piece.